You know, it helps that when you start a stream, you should have your microphone turned on. Now, it's just a rumor. I don't know how true it actually is, but, that's what they're telling me, is that if you're going to do a live stream, you should definitely have your microphone on. I guess we'll find out if that's true or not. Is it? I don't know. We'll see. All right, got everything running. I think I got everything running. I hope I got everything running. Do I have everything running? I don't know. Anyway, I am Mr. Funky Dude. I'm starting this live stream. A little different this week, doing a Thursday and Friday live stream. Couldn't do it on Tuesday. My neck was hurting. I have a herniated disc in my neck, and it was just kind of killing me. Was not good. Wasn't good. Wasn't good. So, yeah. What are you going to do? You try. That's what you do. You try. You try and you fail, and you try and then you fail and you keep trying. Anywho. Good to be here. Hopefully I get some of my... Oh, that's what I forgot to do. See, there's always something I forget to do. It won't be one of my live streams unless there's something I was supposed to do before the stream that I forgot to do, which was tell people on my Discord that I'm live. Not that anybody's any in there, but, it's good practice. Boom, sent. Okay. I don't know if anybody will show up. I'm here, less than none. This in a little bit. Hold on. That's better. Not perfect, better. Sorry. Focusing on the wrong things, apparently. Does not get me what I want. So, anyway, sitting here, it's Thursday. The week has been very slow. It's been a slow week. Except on Mastodon. Mastodon's been pretty active. I've had some of my posts on Mastodon. Hit the Explore page. Trending, whatever you want to call it. Which is nice. More engagement's always good. Oh, man. So, that reminds me. So, about 3 weeks ago, I had... Was it 3 weeks? 4 weeks ago? I'd say it's a month ago. I'm really good at this storytelling stuff, right? So, about a month ago, I decided that I was going to shut down my website, MrFunkyDude.com. And it's a WordPress-powered, website from WordPress.org. I host it myself, pay for the hosting, all that. And I decided that I wasn't going to do that any longer. That was not the way that I was going to go. So I decided the way I was going to do is use bio.link, which is similar to Linktree, if you're familiar with that. And what I would do is have all of the different sources of my content, YouTube, PeerTube, Mastodon, all the things that I make on other content, on other platforms, listed there. And then I would have MrFunkyDude.com just point to, that link, the set of links, and people can find my content there. And of course, I'm always trying to push federated content services, Mastodon, PeerTube, PixelFed, right? And then I started using Write Freely, which is another ActivityPub powered federated kind of thing, but it's for simply writing. It's just for having a place to put the stuff you want to write and people being able to find it and follow it and what have you. So it's called Write Freely, and I joined an instance, and it was going good for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, the instance that I had joined went dead. Don't know why, but it just went dead. And it's still dead today. It's been like 4 days. So I gave it a day to wait to see if it would come back up. It didn't come back. So now I was stuck like, okay, so obviously this isn't a good place to put my stuff. I didn't want to pay there's like a paid version of Write Freely on write.im or am or something like that. I don't remember. But I didn't want to pay for that. So WordPress has been recently federated. It's joined the Fediverse by implementing ActivityPub in their software, and I have a WordPress.com, free WordPress that I haven't used in probably 6 years, 5 years, something like that. So I decided to pull it out of the mothballs and copy what I thought was some of my recipes and some of my articles, and I moved it over to there. And I've added that. I've replaced the Write Freely with the WordPress link on my links page, profile page, I guess I could call it. And I put it out, and I got pretty well receptive. Got 100 hits on it, which is really good for me. Anything I write, so I was very happy about that. It was a well received article that I wrote. A lot of people, boosted it and pushed it forward and commented and engaged with me on it, and that was really nice. I was disappointed that Write Freely kind of crapped out on me, but I wish I knew why, but I don't. So, yeah, reopen my old WordPress and it's just going to be strictly for writing. It's not going to be a website for like all my content. It's just going to be strictly for whatever I write. That's it. If people want to see pictures, if people want to see my videos, other stuff like that, they need to go to those places. They can go to my profile page and they can find the content there if they're interested in that kind of thing. So yeah, that was disappointing for me this week. I had to move everything and get that all set up, and everything's going fine now. Now I'm just waiting I closed down my website, and I'm waiting for my domain to transfer over to my new, the registrar or whatever it's called that I use now. So I'm not using my hosting service for my domain name anymore. So I moved it, and I guess it takes 5 days, up to 5 days for the transfer to complete, which I don't get. Like, it used to take like maybe an hour, sometimes 5 hours, but never 5 days. Is the backlog that big on domains that like it can't do? I mean, that's not a lot of data being transferred. I mean, it's probably not even 10 kilobytes worth of data being transferred. So what the hang up is, I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just waiting on that. That's the last thing I'm waiting for. And then I can wipe my hands of everything and I'm good. Just waiting for the domain to transfer so that I can have it forwarded to, where I want it to go. We shall see. I just wait for that now. And so yeah, that's got that done this week. What else? I don't know, man. This is too low. Hold on. Let's get this higher. Get up, camera. Get up, camera. There we go. That better? Oh yeah, that's better. More space. I like that. That was way too. It's a little wonky. Hold on. I can't stand it if it's not straight. There we go. Welcome to Watch Me Adjust the Camera with Mr. Funky Dude. Trying to think of what else is going on we can talk about. the article that I wrote. And if you want to read it yourself, follow me on Mastodon, or you can go to my profile page wherever you're watching right now. There will be a link to my profile links, and just hit the WordPress link, and you'll get to see the article. That was pretty good. It was an article I wrote about a moment I had years ago where I was listening to a radio interview with the Tibetan Dalai Lama, and he said something that very much affected me. And, just to give you an insight, I'm not going to tell you the whole article, obviously, because I want you to go read it. But basically what he said in the interview was that there was someone who was going to be put to death, a serial killer who was going to be put to death. And the Dalai Lama was asked what he thought about that. And he was visiting the United States. And the answer he gave really kind of like changed the way I look at things. And he just simply asked a question. He says kind of like, which is worse? The man who committed these horrible atrocities, or the society and culture which created him. And that for me was a moment that just kind of like went, my brain kind of blew out a little bit. And that got me towards a way of thinking where, what he was talking about was responsibility, basically. That we're all part of this world, that we're all connected in some way, that we all bear responsibility for the good and the evil that is in this world. I wrote about that. And hopefully someone will come along and read it. Well, about 100 people have. I wish it got a little more attention, but, it is what it is. I'm happy to have what I get. If 100 people are only going to be the ones that read it, I'm happy that 100 people read it. That makes me feel good. I haven't made a video lately. My videos have been clips from my live stream, but I haven't sat down and actually made a video. I guess I haven't had anything to really talk about. And if I did, I kind of wrote about it. I'm probably a better writer than I am a videographer or a vlogger, or what have you. Probably a lot more clear, more concise, more direct, I guess you could say. I don't know. With my writing than I am with what I'm doing now or when I make a video. Because I don't write all my videos. A lot of times it's an idea in my head and I just start talking about it or working on it. So we'll see. Yeah, that was interesting. I got into an interesting conversation today on Mastodon about whether or not people should, creators should call it content. That content somehow, the word content, somehow lessens the value of what you're creating. And I've heard this argument before. And I do understand it. I do get it. I absolutely get it. The argument is that it's more than content. Calling it content reduces it to a commercially commodified kind of way of looking at it. And I get that. And there's not a lot that I disagree with that on. The problem is, I don't know what to call what I do other than content. What else do I call it? Because let me list the things that I do. I do live streaming. I do live streaming. I make videos about all different sorts of subjects, from baking bread to mental health to just things that come off the top of my head, that intrigue me or what have you. And then I write articles for my blog, and I write jokes and community building stuff, and a whole bunch of different things for Mastodon. And these are all expressions of myself. This is for what, for lack of a better term, is my art. Right? I don't draw. I'm a personality. And I don't do woodworking. I don't do art, so I can't call myself an artist. I can't call myself a craftsman. I can't call myself a musician because I don't do those things. But if I call myself a writer, then I'm not being wholly accurate. If I call myself a videographer, I'm not being wholly accurate. If I call myself a live streamer, I'm not being wholly accurate. So what other word do I use besides content? Now, someone suggested that I use the word my works. That to me is very loaded, because a lot of people wouldn't consider what I do work. Regardless of the effort and the time and the thought processes that I put into things. They don't consider it work. So I hesitate to use the term works for that reason, because it feels loaded, right? What do I call it? My craft? But that doesn't tell you what I do. If I say content, I'm a content creator. That means that I'm making something for the internet, right? I'm not making it for a customer. I'm not making a picture for someone. I'm not building a shelf for someone. I'm making content for people on the internet. So my question was, what else do I call it besides content? What else do I call what I do besides content? Because to me, that's what it is. I'm creating stuff for the internet, content for the internet. And when I explained that in the thread, even the people who were saying, yeah, be careful with the word content, were going, yeah, I guess call yourself content. What else are you gonna use? And I'm all like, great, I don't know. I'm not gonna use the word works. My craft? That doesn't tell you anything. That sounds a little pretentious as well. I just make things on the internet and hope people like them. And I am essentially a busker on the internet. That's what I do. I'm a very bad busker on the internet because I'm basically standing out here on the corner of whatever internet street in Vine, and I got a cup or a hat down at my feet, and I'm either trying to make people laugh, make people think, make people smile, make help people in one way or another. And I hope that through doing that people will like and enjoy my content, and that they will contribute either through time being here, interacting, engagement, or through, following, subscribing, or sometimes through donations, through some form of patronage. And that's the hat or the cup that is set at my feet. The problem is, I'm not popular enough or large enough that anybody feels that that's needed. And I don't create the kind of content as a whole where, although I'm sure it's enjoyed and I'm told it's enjoyed by people, people are used to getting things for free on the internet. And I think it doesn't even, like, people don't even consider it. And that's part of the problem of, if, like, for me, I don't want to advertise on YouTube. I don't really care about getting sponsored and making, money off of sponsorships or things like that. That's not what I'm into. I believe that's invasive. There's a lot of invasive advertising that goes along with it. You're asked to advertise things that you may not like. Like, I don't control what goes on the front of my YouTube. I enjoy PeerTube. I don't control what goes on the front of my Twitch when I'm live streaming. And even if I could get some money from that, I don't know if I'd feel good about it. So I rely on funding from people that watch. Which they don't. Well, they watch, but they don't contribute. That's okay. What am I going to do? Hopefully, I'll get this thing going and it'll get popular enough, eventually. And people want to watch and they'll enjoy it. And I'll have guests on, that's what right here is for. I'll have guests on and it'll be more engaging. That's the hope anyway. So I'm not really expecting anything right now. I don't really expect anything to begin with, but it would be nice to feel, appreciated enough that someone, feels like I'm worth, $5 every now and then. It is what it is. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. Just explaining my situation. And this is just something for me to talk about till someone shows up. I got to keep talking, right? Oh, man. So, yeah. That's a conundrum. And it's worse, it's hard to talk about it. Like, it's hard for me to talk about it right now. Because whenever I do, I feel like if I talk about it openly in public, then it comes off as I'm begging for money or for engagement, or, that I'm complaining, something like that. And that's not the case at all. I'm just saying it would be nice. It would be really nice. I don't even have like big needs. Like, if I made $50 to $100 in donations every month, that would fund all of my internet fund for the next year. Literally. But like I said, I don't have any expectations. It would be nice, but I understand the mindset. I understand that people don't think about, supporting their favorite content creators. And it's because they've been trained by corporations to just assume that advertisements going to, take care of it. That if they work hard enough that they'll be able to, be monetized and share in the profit and what have you. And they don't understand that that's harder than you think. I've got literally hundreds of videos on YouTube, very little watch time for each month. And maybe I just suck. Maybe I haven't found my audience, and maybe it's because YouTube hasn't helped me find my audience. I found my audience on Mastodon. Mastodon I've had great success with in terms of like just popularity, engagement, things like that. Wonderful success on Mastodon. I love my Mastodon. I love all my followers on Mastodon, and it's just fun. It's a good, engaging place to be. I highly recommend it. If you're looking for social media, Mastodon is like no other place. It's just better. But I have a good amount of followers there. I get really excellent engagement. I put something up and I get someone replying within at least a minute or two. So I have fun with it and I enjoy it. I love it. Yeah, I would be sad if I didn't have it. No, because it's fun. It's a way for me to express myself. It's a way for me to get my content out to more people. But, there's something to be said that it would be nice if people appreciated my content enough that they wanted to help contribute to it, help fund it, help push it forward. And in my head, the only reason they don't, aside from just, habitual nature of assuming that content creators make money in other ways. The only other thing I can think of sometimes is just that my content isn't good enough. Maybe it's not. I don't know. That's not really for me to say. All I can do is create it and hope that it resonates with someone. Sometimes I get a direct hit and I get excellent engagement. I get, people who thank me and tell me that it's touched them or that it made them laugh or that they enjoy it and what have you. And that just makes my heart soar. I cannot explain that enough. That just makes me really, really, really happy and grateful. Absolutely. To me, that engagement is worth a lot. Worth a lot. More than I can express. Because to know that something that I'm working on, that I actually work on, that I try my best to put out, is appreciated. And I get that occasionally, and it's great. But, not a lot of people out there feel like that content is worth financially supporting. Okay. Not yet. Hopefully I'll get there eventually. Hopefully. We'll see. Am I whining? This sounds like I'm whining too much, doesn't it? Oh, man, I hate that. Oh, whine. Okay, so let's change the subject. We talked about that for a half hour. What else are we going to talk about now? Oh, man, I wrote a post on Mastodon again about other posts today about privacy. And this one has gotten a lot of, it got me on the, definitely got me on the Explore page, the trending page today. And let's see if I can find it. I'll read it to you real quick because it's not huge. Where is it? Wait, I'm on the wrong. Hold on. I said nothing quite angers me like using an app that recommends to me people that I should know, which means that person probably allowed the app access to their contacts. Giving an app access to your contacts is like spreading a venereal disease. Now this app knows who I am connected to and can probably figure out why and how. That's more information than I wanted to give them. Don't give apps access to your contacts. It's not just your privacy that's at stake. And that's going around. It's it's getting good traction on there. So we talked about that. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. Most people agree. But there are also a lot that disagree. And that's okay. That's great. Most people agree, though. I actually haven't seen anybody disagree so far. Now that I think about it, no one's disagreed with me. Totally. One person kind of did. I don't think they disagreed. They kind of like said that, or at least the impression that I got from him was that they just were tired of fighting the battle. They just kind of gave in. Okay, I'm not going to fault anybody for that. I don't sit inside other people's heads, and I don't know the battles that they fight and that they deal with on a daily basis. So I'm not going to judge anyone for dipping out. Say, no, I'm done. I've had it. I was saying to my girlfriend the other day, and I understand this is problematic thinking, right? But and let me just say this. I understand that what I'm about to say is problematic. I understand that it is very privileged. I'm going to say it anyway. I think that when a person hits a certain age, let's say if they make 80 years old, that they should have a right to disconnect themselves from the news. like when I told my girlfriend, when I hit 80, don't tell me shit. I don't want to know anything about politics. I don't want to know anything about news. I don't know. I don't want to know about the bad wars that are going on in the world. Just give me my pho, sit me at my table, give me my a deck of cards to play solitaire, and let me watch my TV. When I hit 80, that's all I want. A person should have the right to disconnect from bad news. Just don't bother me with that shit anymore. I don't know. What do you think? I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to be right back. Really got to move that button. All right. Back we are. Back I am. Thank you for waiting. Ugh. Slow day on the internet. Today's live stream might only be an hour if no one shows up. It's okay. At least I'm coming out. I wasn't able to come out here on Tuesday. I have 2 herniated discs in my neck, and it was on fire that day. So it's kind of hard for me to sit up and do that. I didn't want to cancel because I've been trying to do really good Tuesdays and Thursdays loyally. So I'm doing today's stream, and I'll do another live stream tomorrow. So I'll make sure I get that 2 a week in. Now if I could just get guests in here to talk to. I'll get there eventually. Someday. I gotta start asking people. I know some people on Mastodon. It'd be interesting to talk to. Problem is my time slot. The 2 to 3:30 or 2 to 4 is just not a great time slot. Be better if I could do it more in the evening. That's another whole story I'm still working on. Something would be easier to fix if I had funding, but I don't, so I have to find other ways. But that breeds creativity sometimes too, right? When you don't have the tools to do something that you want to do, you either make the tools yourself or you find another way to do it. That's something my father taught me. That's a subject I should write about. Let me jot that note down. Hold on a second. Second. I am going to write myself a little note here. Hold on. Write about that this week. That's a good subject. Writing about the influence my father had with me about having the things that you want. He very much had an attitude of if you can't buy it, you make it. So he had all these different contraptions that he made, over the years that are just awesome. I should write about that. That'd be a good story. I think I'll do that. Not right now, obviously, but later on. Yeah. Usually someone's here by now. Some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my hair. I've been toying with the idea of a new hairstyle. I've been toying with the idea of shaving off, all the hair on my head. Yeah, just keeping the beard. But I'm afraid that would end up looking too, I don't know, bike gang looking dude. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure that out. Don't have the answers. So I'll try anyway. Um, yeah. I also asked a question. I put up a poll on Mastodon about people who use WordPress.com. I asked the question, now that WordPress.com is federated, using ActivityPub, will you be, are you more likely or less likely to use the WordPress reader? And most people don't even know it exists, which I found funny. But the consensus seems to be so far 8% less likely, 23% more likely, 69% have no idea what that is. And that's out of 57 people or 52 people so far that have been polled. Don't really know. And what WordPress reader is, it's it shows all of the latest publishings from people who use WordPress.com. Basically what it does. And where you can go and just see what people are writing about, see what people are talking about. There's some great photography, stuff like that. But it's like a timeline feed of the latest public, WordPress content. It's cool. It's nice if you want to read something, but I was interested to see how many people actually pay attention to it, know about it, and read it. The poll is up for the next 3 days. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. Should be interesting to see what happens. Someone called me the other day a community builder on Mastodon. I thought that was a weird description. I mean, I guess I kind of do that. I kind of do have a community that I built on Mastodon of cool people, that I like to boost a lot and like to promote. And they do the same for me. And I'm always promoting a lot of things on Mastodon, trying to keep people focused on what makes Mastodon so special. Like I promote what's called the today hashtag today, as a way for people to talk about what they're doing that day, talk about what's going on in their lives, and to boost other people doing the same thing, so that Mastodon doesn't become just about tech or news or, like some other social networks out there. It's about people. It's about being social. Haven't had that happen yet. Hopefully soon. Yeah. A lot's been going on this week, honestly. Like I said, I'm surprised no one's here yet. I don't know if anybody's lurking. It doesn't even, I'm not seeing any numbers that show anybody's lurking either. So maybe it's just a dry day for me. Some days you get the bear, some days the bear gets you. The thing is, you just have to always keep pushing forward, right? What else you got? Yeah. Literally don't know what else to say. That's why I need guests. That's why I need you to come and be a guest for me. I could read my article, clip it, put it up on the internet. But nobody wants to hear anybody being read to. No one wants to watch someone read to them, do they? Not sure that. I almost feel like I'm getting a cold. Last couple of days, my sinuses have been like really dry during the day and really like running in the morning. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's my CPAP or something else. So I'm a little phlegmy for like last 4 days. I don't feel like I have a cold or anything. Oh, there's another interesting subject. So we could talk about that. A study was done and it showed that people who smoke cannabis regularly suffer less symptoms of COVID and have a lower mortality rate. And the difference was big. Like the COVID has a 13% mortality rate, I think is what it said. And out of those who smoke cannabis and contracted COVID, had a 2.9, or I think that was it, a 2.9% mortality. That's a big difference. So I thought that's an excellent idea, and so I put up that article on Mastodon, and all of a sudden people were going, "Oh, well, that explains why I didn't have big symptoms and big issues and what have you." Oh yeah, me too. I've only had COVID like once, and I was fine. It was like a really bad, Not really bad. It was like a light flu for me, but I didn't suffer the symptoms that long. And they gave reasons for why they believe it it happens. Something about the way that cannabis reacts with the cells, which prevents it from having a histamine reaction, or a reaction that produces those ill effects. But they say more research should be done. But I thought it's hilarious. Oh, that's so awesome. Another reason to keep smoking cannabis. I try not to call it marijuana. I try. I don't always succeed, but I try not to call it marijuana. The reason I try not to call it marijuana is because of its racist past. First of all, what we consider marijuana isn't marijuana. There's actually a plant called marijuana, and cannabis is not that plant. But what happened was that at one time in the history of the United States, where textile companies were afraid that cannabis would come in and replace them as like paper and tile, and because there's lots of stuff you can do with the fiber of cannabis, they started demonizing cannabis. And the way to do that was to demonize people who smoked cannabis. And they did that by associating them with Mexican immigrants. So they talked about, they called it marijuana to give it that Mexican connection. And that's when you started seeing, things like reefer madness and, all these other things start to happen where they started demonizing cannabis users and cannabis itself. Because if you could demonize the users and have them associated with the plant, and then it doesn't matter, because that you're not going to get far with that plant, even if you're using it for like paper or what have you, because it's been demonized by people. People aren't going to trust it because they're going to associate it with the drug, and they're going to associate with these immigrants, and so that's supposed to be a bad association. So it's racist. Marijuana is a straight up racist term. It's a problematic term. So personally, I try not to use it. I try to call it cannabis. I slip up out of habit because it hasn't been until like the last 5 years where I've tried to stop calling it that. I have a whole lifetime of calling it marijuana, which was wrong. So I try to remember to call it cannabis. Don't always succeed. And, I get words change and their meanings change and the history becomes unknown. And so you could say that, most people not knowing that it's a racist term or that it was born out of racism don't hold that, the idea and thought of it being racist. That's true. I can see the logic in that, but I know, so I don't want to use it because it doesn't make me feel good. That's it. People should call it what they want to call it, what they feel comfortable with it, calling it. I don't judge anybody for calling it marijuana. I just don't feel good calling it that, if that makes sense. That's just me. Hanging in there. Oh, what else is going on in the world that we can talk about? No politics, no religion. Because trust me, that should be easy to talk about. Oh, man. But I would just be another voice in a lost storm. I really don't think there's anything that people can do about major world issues. I think the only thing that we can do is take care of our community. Take care of ourselves, our neighbors, and the people that we live around daily. That we should be focusing more on those things than upon world events. Because, every problem, every giant starts out small. Very true. Every giant starts out small. And if we ignore it, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it becomes problematic. That small giant always starts at home, starts in your community, and then it grows from there. And so for me, I'm going to try to pay more attention to local politics and my community. Because I hate the feeling of powerlessness and hopelessness that I get from watching the news, and looking at world events. Like, without going into the details, this whole Israeli Palestine thing that's been going on, fucking horribly sad. But the worst thing is how helpless I feel to do anything about it. There's nothing that I can do about it. I can vote for the right people when the time comes, but right now, nothing I can do. And my worry doesn't help them. My anxiety over it doesn't help them. Doesn't help anybody. So I actively avoid content about it. I stay up to date, what's going on, but I don't pay attention to all the little details. I don't need to, because there's nothing I can do. Oh yeah, I can go out there and protest, and I can go and let my voice be heard. And that would be great if I actually felt these days that had any effect on politicians whatsoever. But I don't think it does. Look, my going out into protest about this is not going to change the religious convictions of the politician who is siding with an oppressor because they feel, that that's what their God wants them to do. Not to get political or religious all of a sudden, but, so I think my energy and effort and concerns would better be spent helping my community. That's one of my resolutions next year, is to pay more attention to local politics, pay more attention to my community, to get more involved. How I do that, I don't know, but I'm going to try to find a way to do it. We shall see what we shall see. It will be what it will be. Well, almost an hour. It's been a slow show. Just me yakking away at all of you out there. Hoping that you're having a good day if you hear this later on. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. I hate that feeling like you're going to sneeze. It doesn't come out. I hope everybody out there is having a good week. I honestly do. I mean that sincerely. If you haven't been having a good week, I hope you contact me on Mastodon. If you need to talk to someone, or if you just need to feel like you're connecting with someone for just a moment, more than happy to reply back to you. If you want to share what's your woes, I'm more than happy to listen. Not enough people out there willing to do that. It's like I said on Mastodon the other day. We got to remember that when we come into this holiday season, that there are those out there who may need help, but are afraid to ask for it, or ashamed to ask for it, or for whatever reason don't. So pay attention to when you're talking to the people around you, and listen. If they're making jokes about how they won't be able to help anybody on Christmas, or won't be able to contribute to the holidays, or if they're making jokes about being alone, things like that, maybe reach out with some kindness, reach out with some understanding, and just let them know that their value isn't in what they can give. It's in who they are. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't have anything to give. They feel very, very, very alone during the holidays. And I think we should all do what we can to make sure that they don't feel that way. So if you get a chance, you can reach out to those around you and just check in on them. That is really the history of the season. Most people don't realize that the whole winter solstice thing, Christmas and all that, is based around, and why there's different versions of it kind of throughout different cultures, you'll find, is that it's based around just checking up on people during what is literally probably the harshest season of the year, winter. Summer's hard. So high heat can be horrible. But when you're frozen and you can't get out and you have very little warmth, and maybe you're not seeing people as much because everybody's staying home, and you're more secluded, it not only wears you down physically, but mentally as well. So the winter solstice, Christmas, all these things are excuses to go and visit your family and friends, to check up on them, to make sure that they're okay. That's what they are. When you boil them down to their essence and to what they are at the heart, that's what all these, winter holidays are. It's a way to check up on people. So make sure that you do that. Check up on people around you. Check up on people maybe that you haven't talked to for a while, or that you haven't had a lot of contact with them. Just make sure that they're okay. Make sure that they know that they're valued. And make sure that they understand that value isn't just based on what they can contribute. It's based on who they are. And for a lot of people, that could be the greatest gift that you can give them. I hope you do that. All right. Well, I'm going to cut this live stream short today because, well, it's just what it's got to be. Not a lot of people showing up today for whatever reason. That's okay. That happens. No use of me keep babbling on. And I hope that if you're watching this after my live stream has ended, that you'll follow or subscribe or whatever. Reach out to me, engage with me somehow. What did you think about this episode? And if you have any ideas of how I can improve things, let me know. But between now and the next time I see you tomorrow, go out there and create some kindness. Do something nice for someone. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small. Just reach out, and especially this time of year, show people that you care. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.